Today, we're diving into one of the most classic, most powerful tools in business strategy, the Ansoff Matrix. Think of it as a simple, four-path map for any company that's serious about growth. Let's get right into it. I mean, this is the question, right? Every single business on the planet wants to grow. But the options can feel kind of overwhelming. Do you launch a new product? Do you chase new customers? Go into a new country? It's easy to get lost. Well, the Ansoff Matrix was created to cut through all that noise and give you some clarity. Okay, so before we unpack the matrix itself, let's just quickly get on the same page about the word strategy. Strategy isn't just wishful thinking. It's not about getting lucky. It's a deliberate, fully baked plan. It's about making conscious choices that guide every single move a company makes. So the brains behind this whole thing was a guy named Igor Ansoff. You'll sometimes hear him called the father of strategic management, and for good reason. Back in 1957, he published this game-changing idea. And what's wild is that all these decades later, in this crazy fast-paced world we live in, his simple little matrix is still one of the first tools that business leaders reach for. And this quote, this really gets to the core of his whole philosophy. Ansoff believed that standing still is just not an option in business. If you're not actively trying to grow, if you're not changing, you are, by default, falling behind. Growth isn't just some nice-to-have goal. It's essential. It's about survival. All right, so how does this thing actually work? Well, it's actually beautiful in its simplicity. Let's pull back the curtain on Ansoff's four-box blueprint for growth. The whole framework hangs on just two simple questions. First, are we going to stick with the products and services we already sell, or are we going to create something brand new? And second, are we going to sell to our current customers, the people who already know and trust us, or are we going to venture out and find a totally new market? And when you put those two questions on a grid, you get this, the classic 2x2 matrix. Each one of these four boxes represents a fundamentally different way to grow. You can go for market penetration, market development, product development, or the riskiest of them all, diversification. This simple grid, this is the whole shebang. But, and this is a big but, these four paths are not created equal. Not at all. Each one is a different strategic bet, and more importantly, each one carries a very different level of risk. Let's break that risk down. Think of market penetration as your home turf. It's the safest move because you're dealing with what you know, your products and your customers. Now, as soon as you move to market or product development, you're introducing a big unknown, right? Either a new audience or a new offering. That dials up the risk. But diversification? Whoa. That's when you're playing on a whole new field with a whole new ballgame, a new product for a new market. It's the highest risk, for sure, but it can also have the biggest payoff. Okay, theory's great. But this is where it gets fun. Let's see how this actually plays out with some of the biggest companies you know. McDonald's is like the poster child for the Ansoff Matrix. They've played in every single box. For market penetration, they use things like Happy Meals and the drive-thru to just sell more burgers and fries to their existing customers. For market development, they took that winning menu and expanded all over the globe. For product development, they created things like the McCafe to sell something new to their regulars waiting for a burger. And for diversification, yeah, they even took a high-risk shot with a branded hotel. Coca-Cola is another perfect case study. They use those iconic Santa ads to penetrate deeper into the market they already own. For product development, they give their existing fans new flavors like Cherry Coke. For diversification, they bought a whole other company, Glasso, to jump into the health drink market with vitamin water. But check out market development. Launching Coke Zero wasn't just about a new product. It was about targeting a whole new demographic, young men who wouldn't touch a Diet Coke. That's taking your core concept to a new slice of the market. Okay, but as powerful as this matrix is, we have to be real about it. It isn't perfect. And to use it well, you have to understand its limits. It's a tool to guide your thinking. It's not a crystal ball. So there are a few things you got to keep in mind. First, the matrix is a static snapshot, right? But business is more like a movie. It's always changing. It also doesn't really have a box for what your competitors might do next. And, the definition of new can get a little fuzzy. Is a new color a new product? But maybe the biggest danger came from Ansoff himself. He warned about analysis paralysis, that trap of getting so stuck planning and debating that you never actually do anything. Which brings us to the real bottom line here. The Ansoff Matrix is not going to spit out a magic answer for you. Its real power is in the conversation it forces you and your team to have. It gives you a structure, a framework, to think through your options and weigh the risks against the rewards in a clear, logical way. So let's end with this. Think of a company you love, a brand you follow. Looking at this four-box map, what's their next move? Should they dig deeper and penetrate? Should they develop a new product, find a new market, or should they take that big leap and diversify? It's a simple question, but the answer could define their entire future. Thanks for tuning in.